So here we are at Todber Manor, Dorset. Beautiful complex. Got a couple of days on here. Up on that bank is Paddock Lake, just up there. Just paid to go on Big Haze potentially, or definitely Willow bank, we're not sure yet which one. Just going to have a drive down the complex now. All these are lodges, and there's a shower and toilet block in the corner there. All these are little holiday cottages that you can rent out, which is pretty cool. It's a beautiful place. It's a long drive, 2 hours 45 minutes from Milton Keynes. This is the lake. There's only one other angler on, and he's right down the far corner. He's on till about 2 o'clock this afternoon. The lake's pretty deceiving actually. It's quite a small lake, as you can see, obviously rammed full of fish. You can't fish that far bank. It's got depths of about 6 foot in the middle, so it's a bit of a man-made hole, but we like that. When it's less challenging, no weed, as you can see. You can actually bait up from the far bank as well. But I think we're going to give it a go in here at least for 24 hours. Can always go into Big Haze later on if there's room. But yeah, the other angler is right down the bottom there, just behind that tree. So he's obviously fishing that corner, so it makes sense for me to go this corner here. Let's get the kit out. So they're obviously using these automatic pellet feeders from a couple of the pegs. I think it's literal, well, sorry, I said pegs. They're not off pegs, they're just the very corner of each island. And they obviously automatically put the pellet out for the tiny little fry to grow them on. But I bet you there's plenty of carp around this bay feeding, especially if it's quiet midweek like it is. So it's exactly 10 o'clock on Tuesday the, no idea, 8th of September, something like that. And we're here, as we said, at Willow Bank, Todber Manor. Only been open a month, this lake, and we're now set up. It's exactly 10 o'clock, as I said. This is going to be the home for at least 24 hours, and then we may have a go on Big Haze if there's space, but decided to fish a metre off that brown post on the far bank, and then in the corner there where there's a lot of bubbles, looked like fish had been feeding overnight, a metre off that bush there. But I'm also going to bait up a spot in the middle because there's a lot of water to cover. It's alright sticking to your margins, but if they're all patrolling the middle, then I'll need to bait up a spot as well. But I'm going to use boilies for that. I've used sweet corn for the others, beds of sweet corn, and then alternate my bait. So there's a lad fishing right down there. Not sure how he's got on. You can probably just see his stuff there. It looks like a little channel down there which goes into cove. But yeah, as I said, there's 235 fish in here, up to about £30. It's new water, so they're all in good condition, and we're hoping to get amongst them. I must admit, I did like the look of Big Haze when I had a walk around earlier, so I hope I don't struggle on here, otherwise I might regret that. But there might be a chance of a day on Big Haze to finish the video in session tomorrow or Friday, so we'll see. Well, 2 hours has flown by. I think I've been asleep for an hour of it. There's been a lot of fish crashing, not so much down this end where I am, but up towards the lad on the corner. I wonder whether that's because he's been fishing for a while and been baiting up. But it's now an absolute roasting day. I nearly said on camera earlier it's supposed to get 24, 25 degrees today, and this morning it was drizzle a lot. It was pretty bleak, and yet the sun's breaking through now, and I'm literally burning here, sitting in the porch bit of my bivvy. So not the start we'd wanted. A couple of hours have gone by, not a bleep. I can see my first fish on top over there. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this at all. No, he's just gone down, but yeah, the first fish on top over there. But might chuck some zigs out this afternoon because it's going to be so hot. But I have baited up the 2 places I showed you earlier with, and they are in the margin, so I mean it's catch 22 I wouldn't say regret, my only thoughts straight away are that putting in a kilogram of corn in each of the spots will take time for the fish to get over it. Oh, sorry about that. Will take time for the fish to get over it, so I don't probably expect to catch immediately, but I just wasn't sure whether, you know, with so many fish in such a small lake, that it would go absolutely crazy. It's not done that, so I've got to rethink now, and I'm also going to rethink tactics wise. I might chuck out a couple of solid bags into the middle or over zigs, etc., and try mixing things up, and then going back on my margin spots later on. But it's early days yet, and I'm not too worried. But one thing I can't do is blank on this lake with 200 plus fish. So the first few hours have gone by, and I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you. What I didn't want to do is, if I catch loads of fish later on, for example, just cut into footage of the fish at, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, because it will then potentially look easy when it's not. You know, the first few hours have been extremely slow. Just seeing a fish roll there on the top. The first few hours have been really slow, and when I first came here, I thought, right, 235 fish in about 3 acres of water, we're going to absolutely nail it. There's only 2 people on the lake, myself included. Put some bait in and watch the rod scream off. It hasn't happened like that. I haven't even had an indication on either rod, and I think that just shows how important Watercraft is. So where I fish my local lake, the Pines, I know that really well. I could put it on the spot every time, and I expect to catch fish here. You know, I don't know the patrol route. I don't know which end of the lake fishes best. You don't know their feeding patterns, so it could come absolutely alive at night when they get over it. It could be margins later in the evening, who knows. I spoke to a lad in the tackle shop who were really helpful, and he said that a few fish have been caught on zigs, but primarily a lot of the fish are caught on small sort of particle baits, because that's what they've been fed on. So that's definitely worth considering, and I haven't ignored that. I've pre-baited with corn, as I've said earlier, but my actual end hook baits, I've got pop-up on one and several pieces of fake corn on the other at the moment. I'm just trying those, but what I've also come to think of is I bought loads of luncheon meat with me, and I'm wondering whether to chop a load of that up and add that onto each of the swims I've pre-baited, and then fish a nice big chunk of luncheon meat on there, just in case the smell and the naturalness, freshness, softness and all that will aid me catching more fish. But no, I just wanted to share that because I think it's easy to read your reviews on Facebook and see loads of pictures and think, right, we're gonna have multiple hits, but as I said, you know, first few hours I haven't had a touch, and that might be commonplace here. I've only ever fished here once on Little Haze, so I'm definitely not experienced or one to give advice on these lakes, but I just wanted to share with you that, you know, if we do get some fish later on, there have been times in the day where it's definitely been a struggle, but I'm just watching the water. I've spent the last hour watching the water, and the majority of the fish crashing are a metre off the far bank, which is interesting. Unfortunately none anywhere near the spots I baited, so again they could be avoiding those spots after all the bait that went in this morning, but I expect them to obviously patrol around later on in the day. But yeah, it's quite interesting. There's fish crashing right in the margin, not next to me but a couple of pegs down as well. Nothing really in the middle, so you know, it's worth me concentrating on the Watercraft, because I think you might pick up some ideas of where the fish are actually moving, and of course there could be a lot further down the other end of the lake where the lad's been fishing. So thought I'd share those, but hopefully we'll get in some fish sooner rather than later. Spoken with the only other lad who's fishing on this lake. He's right down the bottom corner to your left, where it goes into a lovely little bay which you'd think would hold loads of fish. He said he fished here last week and blanked in this peg, and the bailiff told him to fish right down the other side, or the far corner, which he's doing now, and he's not caught a thing either. He thinks they're spawning because there's so many little fish in the lake. He said they've been going mental, crashing far bank, middle, corner, everywhere, but he's not had a touch. He's been fishing bags. So yeah, I'm not sure how long he's done. He's definitely done 24 hours, may have done longer, but he's blanked, and he blanked last week. So my optimism of coming here and emptying the lake, he's very rapidly wearing off. I think, you know, we'll be lucky to pull out a couple here. When I went round to Big Haze this morning, because that's originally where I wanted to fish, most of the 2 pegs that were free were together. A couple were coming off at 9 o'clock, and they'd all caught around that area 3 or 4 fish each. So kind of beginning to regret potentially coming on here, although I prefer a challenge if I'm honest. So if it is fishing really poor, then it'll be good if we can get 1 or 2 out. I'm definitely going to stay here for 24 hours over my bait. But yeah, really interested in that, because I said to him, oh, I thought you'd tell me that you've had 20 fish or so, and he says no, I haven't had a touch. So he's had some bleeps off small fish, but so it's quite interesting that, and just goes to show as well, new water might be ram full of fish. There's a fish just crashed out there now. And it can still be very difficult at the wrong time of year, and 25 degrees and sunny, it probably is the wrong time of year, but it's good that they're showing on that far bank. So it's about 5 o'clock, the other lad down the bottom's gone. I've even had an hour's stalk down the bottom with a float rod and some meat, not a touch. I've come back and recast my rods back over there to the pipe, where there's definitely a couple of fish crashed. So they're around the bait, but they're simply not having it. As you can see, this is what we're up against. It's a bird feeding frenzy on all the little fish in the lake, and they're literally all over the lake, just swarming. And just as I say that, a fish crashes right down the bottom again. Not sure where. Yeah, all the birds going mad over the fry. So, had my tea. It's about 8 o'clock, half 8, the sun's going down. Recast all my rods. I've decided to take the one from over there, which has just not had a bleep all day, not that any of the others have, and I've speculatively walked down and cast it into the middle of the lake there. Tried the middle of the lake up this end earlier with nothing, but I've literally speculatively cast out there into the middle and chucked about 20 boilies over it, and brought it all the way back up, pinned it down. And that really is a random, speculative, just in case that all the fish are around that area and happen to take it, but I can't see myself. And then the other 2, got one about 1 metre from the post there, and one about half a metre from the post there, over quite a large bed of bait. So again, fish will either get on it or not. Bit despondent at the moment, really expected some good results today. Unless anything changes tonight, I think I'm definitely going to move on to Little Haze or Big Haze tomorrow, depending on where there's space, just to get some runs, because I haven't come here to blank. But I wanted to try the new water, and yeah, it's a classic case of, whilst I'm disappointed, if I get a 25 pounder during the night, I'll be absolutely elated and chuffed a bit. So and I'd probably stay here and carry on fishing. So you know, I think I just had in my mind that I was going to come and catch, you know, 9, 10 fish, a few 20s, nice big lumps, etc. But it was never going to happen. After talking to that lad early doors, and you know, he said he'd fished here twice now and not had a bite. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns on that far bank. I think it'd be stupid now to leave it with all that bait there. And it takes a few fish to get on it, and they'll get through all that no problem. And then I've got the one randomly down there. I've not seen a fish today on the surface or just under throughout the whole of the day, considering it's 25, 26 degrees. The only thing I've seen is fish crash at various points of the day, various locations, mostly the the far bank margin, which I've had baits all day. So yeah, I mean, when you compare it really to Angler's Paradise, I don't know whether you've ever fished the cracking carp lake there, and I think it's got 16 fish in. It's exactly the same size as this, maybe even a touch bigger. It's got 16 fish in, all huge lumps. But if you fish that and you blank, you kind of get, you like kind of, yeah, fair enough, it just wasn't meant to be, you know, the fish weren't on it, there's only 16 of them. But when you consider there's 235 in here, to not even get a run, a lost fish, you know, bleeps throughout the day, whatever, it's mind-boggling really. And if you are watching this, drop us a comment in the comments on my YouTube channel. Let me know if you know kind of why that would be, because you think there must ratio wise be like 10 fish going from here to there, 10 fish every metre with 235 fish. I know it doesn't work like that, but you can't tell me surely that every single fish, you know, late summer are all in one spot. I mean, they've got to be cruising around. Whether I've missed the trick, as I said, you know, maybe they're in 3-4 foot of water in the middle cruising. There's a fish just jumped. No, it wasn't, sorry. Oh yes, it was a fish next to the duck. So again, you start thinking, do I cast a bait there, who knows. But yeah, it's just difficult. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retire, I think, have a lie down, chill out, and look to get up really early in the morning, see if I can, apparently it's supposed to be really foggy in the morning, so that should be quite cool. But yeah, hopefully get on through in the night, but I'm not too confident. Beautiful Dorset sunset. It's a gorgeous night. It's been a roasting hot day, considering it's the 7th of September, and it looks like it's going to be just as nice a day tomorrow. Looking at that. Just spoke to my mate Adam on the phone, and he quite rightly said sometimes that's fishing, and you know, you can't always expect to catch, which I must admit I did today, but who knows, might get one in the night. So I've just heard scurrying next to my bivvy, and I thought it was this stupid bird, that one-legged bird that had kept annoying me all day. And I've come outside and it's the tiniest little, I don't know whether it's a hedgehog or a mouse. Tiniest little thing. It's trying to get in. Well, he looks like he could eat through anything. So, I've eradicated my two little friends. Smallest field mice I've ever seen. Chucked them back into the bushes. I'm sure they'll be back, but yep, still absolutely dead. A few fish crashing all over the lake, but nothing as yet. Morning, so nothing through the night, just one bleep at 3 AM. I actually woke up, it may have been a couple of bleeps, because I woke up and literally there was a bleep. I waited till about 20 minutes, sat by my rods just in case, and a fish crashed right over the back wall where my bait was. But it's now 7 o'clock and absolutely nothing, so time for a change. I'm not going to sit here and blank for the sake of it. There's plenty of lakes here at Todber, so I'm going to go on one of the others, get my stuff together, and I'll see you when I'm on the bank there. So, to the disappointment of the last 24 hours on Willow Bank Lake, the new one, been up the tackle shop. There's a few spaces on Big Haze, fortunately, and they've allowed me to come on here for 24 hours. So it's Thursday morning, about 11 o'clock. I'm due off at 11 o'clock Friday, and then I've got an hour's wait until, there's a fish there going mental. Got an hour's wait until I'm lucky enough to go on Paddock for 24 hours. So that'll be 3 lakes on the complex I've tried in 3 days, which is really fortunate because Paddock is fully booked for months usually. They just happen to have a space come on, so looking forward to that. It doesn't give me a lot of chance to bait up a lot and spend a few days having multiple runs, but what we're going to try and do is just catch a few fish from each one. So this is Big Haze. It's great. You park your car behind your swim. I've just been up the shower block. What I did was I packed up on Willow Lake. Came down here and put my stuff here, set up and then pre-baited 3 spots. One off the tip of the island there. It's only about 3 or 4 foot I think. One in the middle of the island on the back wall, and then one off that point there. But I'm also going to try the margin around this area. It's the very end of the lake, peg 18. And what I did was I went back up, towards the tackle shot. I had the most amazing shower. They seriously are the friendliest of staff here I've ever come across at a fishery. Knowledgeable, good advice, helpful, try and sort you out if you're struggling, etc. So brilliant staff. Huge tackle shop, and next door to it they've got a shower block and toilet, which is fantastic. So I'm feeling proper reinvigorated and refreshed, and looking forward to getting my rods out, as I said. So everything's ready, all set up. I'm going to change my my rigs, as you can see there, that are all waiting there. I'm going to go on some Pacific tuna, tip with corn on the 3 spots, maybe a pop-up in between. See what we can get out, and just see if we can get amongst the fish. One thing I wanted to add is the swims are so well built and good here that I'm not even bothering with the ground sheet, as you can see in my bivvy. Got it all ready, loads of space, cameras ready. So here we go. So all 3 rods are out now. I've mixed it up. I've got one on CC Moore Pacific tuna, tip with pink corn. That one's on the left of the island. That's the going bait here, so I thought it'd be silly to ignore that. I've got the second one in the middle, on the back wall there of the island. That's on an alpha 18mm tip with corn, and then I've also got an alpha on tip with corn off the island, tip of the island there. So really excited about this now, whether we catch or not. This is the lake I really wanted to fish when I planned my trip. I'm also looking forward to tomorrow's Paddock as well. Might give us a chance to get some catfish, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure whether to include a lot of the footage from yesterday, simply because, you know, no one likes it when no one likes to watch a video where you don't catch, but I might include a bit just to give you a flavour of what the day was like and what the lake looks like, etc. So let's hope the alarm goes off soon, get a nice screaming run. So the fishing's slow all around the lake here, Big Haze. I haven't heard an alarm go once. I think there's only 1 peg free, so it is the sun. It's baking hot again, which is a pain. And we did start at a silly time of like 11 o'clock, so I don't expect a lot sort of the early afternoon, but it'd be nice to get some evening. There's plenty of fish crashing over my spots, so I'm not sure why my rods haven't gone off, unless they're just cruising about. But decided to cook some breakfast whilst we wait, have some food, and then recast the rods and see what's out there. So 10 to 7 and the sun is going down, and still no fish, still no bites whatsoever. The bloke over there I think has had a couple, but he's got the whole of that bay to cast to. Not that I've not got anywhere to cast to. I am on the very end of the lake, so you feel like you'd have, oh, it's one of them. If I'd have been sitting in the middle of the lake a bit banking, I'd have been saying, oh, I should have gone to the little island and corner swim at either end, etc. So I'm not going to sit there and make excuses. The fish aren't feeding, simple as that. The odd one is obviously, but not a sniff, to be honest. I've got both rods out there on the far bank. inches off, and then I've got one here in this margin here by there, and just in case anything patrols throughout the night, I've actually got meat on that for a catfish carp perspective. But as I said, 34 hours now without a fish, and to be honest, I've kind of given up. So if we get a couple during the night, brilliant, but as I said, I'm not certainly not going to expect anything. So as you can see, now I've got a tractor cutting his crop late at night. He's got his lights on as well, which potentially means that he could be doing it all night, which won't help whatsoever me get to sleep. Not that I need it. But yeah, it'll also potentially affect stuff. The ducks are just about gone now. There's one there. There's been about up to 30 or 40 of them today, just going down on my bait constantly, annoying me. But yeah, that's a bit of a pain, but not a lot you can do about it. Nice evening here in Dorset, and I'm getting ready for bed. Just had my first fish at 17.4. Well chuffed. It's only about 10 PM. Little mouse. Yeah, well chuffed. Fish number 2, gorgeous 15 there. It's about half 12 midnight. Third mirror, double take. It's only small on this one. Gorgeous little fish. Went off at the same time as I was putting the other one back. So what a brilliant 2 hours. It's about half 12 midnight, and I've had 3 fish, including a double take. Nothing massive. I think the biggest 17. But yeah, so now I've had 3 fish, so all of a sudden it doesn't seem so bad. And there's still plenty of time left, and I'll tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me if we get a few more. The fish are just totally patrolling that back wall over all the bait from the day, and it kind of makes sense really. It was really hot today. They obviously heard it all going in, and they know exactly where to find it when they want it. And then as it cools down, the wind's picked up, the fish are just cruising round. So yeah, really chuffed with that, and really good condition fish as well. So I'm going to try and get some sleep now, but hopefully we won't be having a lot. So I'll keep you posted, and I apologise for the lack of footage, but I had kind of given up on a video after the last 2 days, but still all good, and finally got some fish to show for it. Beautiful place this, in Todber Manor in Dorset. Apparently you get the fog, the lot all come up in the morning. Yeah, cracking view to wake up to. So it's just coming up to 8 AM on the Friday. Not had a bite since 5 AM when I had my last fish, and I'm starting to come up with this theory that this bay here on Peg 1, bear in mind it's an 8-acre lake, it's only 2 or 3 feet the whole of this area. Apparently there's a deep hole towards the left in the margin, but which goes down to about 10 feet, but yeah, the rest of the lake is predominantly 2 or 3 feet. And my theory is that during the night the fish cruise around the island and pick up the bait that's gone in, but during the day they'll probably move out. I actually chose this swim because I thought the main pressure of everyone else on the rest of the lake may bring them into this bay. But no, I haven't actually had a bleep in pure daylight, so it's interesting. I think if I came here and fished here again, I'd come here to fish the night on this peg, whereas I'd probably move on to the bigger area of the lake to fish by day, probably over zigs, over spotted mix or something like that. But no, I've enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to Paddock, I must admit, because I just get the feeling that today on this lake, on this swim particularly, with the sun out, blaring again just like yesterday, that I could be wasting my time all day anyway. So I think if I'd have had 2 or 3 more fish this morning, I'd be thinking, oh, shall I sort of get up and move lakes? But I think, as I said, with 2 hours since sunlight in the water and no more fish, I think it could well easily be exactly the same as yesterday. So looking forward to it. I want to give it a couple more hours, because you never know, and then start getting my gear ready to move lakes. So I've just spoke to the lads who work here, driving around in the buggy, and they're delighted for me that I finally got off the mark and had a few really nice friendly lads, and really chuff you when you catch. It's rare that you meet such friendly staff at a big complex like this, but yeah, real good pair of lads, and they've given me advice, and they seem to think the same, that they're probably moving here during the night onto this island here, and during the day probably move out, which makes sense. So leg 3 of the 3-day journey, and we're here on Paddock, peg 3. There's been some good fish out over the week. A lot of anglers have done quite a few days though, so we're not expecting huge results fishing here. We just got 24 hours, but the peg lad has absolutely nailed it on. I'm going to show you over there on peg 5. He's gone now, and someone else has carried in after him. Excuse my rig, but yeah, he nailed it on that peg, fishing to the island, just as you can see here. So we're going to have one bait there, but he used 60 quid's worth of maggots, so he was here for a good few days, and he did cane it, but he used maggots. So we bought some maggots from the shop, but there's no one in this peg here, which is peg 4, and actually no one in peg 5 until probably later on. Who knows, they might not even turn up. So I've got it set up. It's raining, as you can see, totally different to the last 2 days, which is a good thing in a way. It's warm tonight as well, so with a bit of luck, you never know. So I'm going to get the rigs out. I'll just show you one of the rigs here, and it's, I don't want to get it wet, it's a bag, very unorthodox bag, tipped with 2 donkey choker pellets and a visibility, a little pink pop-up, but the bag is literally just tied onto the line, so that as it drops through the water it falls straight off, and hopefully just creates that tiny little bit more of a bed. That's chopped up pellet as well, and then I've bought 2 pints of maggots, and we're going to do a maggot clip on the other one, and then we're just going to do a traditional snowman boilie for the carp, because there's carp up to about £35 in here, and the lad who, as I said, nailed it, he had carp I think up to 29.30, so so yeah, who knows, it's very different to the last 2 lakes and the last 2 days. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got 24 hours, so I'm going to crack on and hopefully catch up with you shortly. So, quick little tour of Paddock. There's the start, peg 1, peg 2, no one in, he's just left. I'm here in peg 3. Just this second cast my rods out. So there, I'm in peg 3. There's no one in peg 4 or peg 5, even though today we're supposed to be full. There's people around the other side in 6 and 7, but they look like they're packing up too. So it's a beautiful lake, and loads of little features to fish to. Little channel down there. Peg 4. There's the islands to fish to. It's a miserable day and it's going to be a miserable night, but I've put my rods out. I'm only doing 24 hours, so all set up and ready. Brought minimal gear with me this time, which I can get away with anyway. And yeah, the rods are out. I've got huge pieces of meat on one rod, which is in the centre of the lake there. I've got 2 big pellets with a bag off the island, about 8-9 foot off the island, and then I've got one boilie snowman style, as I said, off that little reed coming out there. So I'm not expecting anything, but it would be a huge bonus if we do. I'm going to mix it up with maggots later, and I'll let you know if I get anything. I'm not seen any fish crash or anything like that. I've had my rods out about an hour, and on my way to peg 3 there was a bloke on peg 2, and believe it or not, he was from Newport Pagnell, which is like 4 minutes away from me, and he also fishes Great Linford Lakes Complex as a member, so we were talking about pines and stuff, which was brilliant. Really nice bloke, can't remember his name, so if you're watching this, hope you had a good session. So yeah, of my 3 rigs, as I said before, I've got huge, basically half a tin of luncheon meat on one rig. I've got 2 huge pellets and a tiny little pop-up on another rig, and then I've got a single, well not a single, I've got a snowman on the 3rd rig. And I'm being a bit selfish really, because everyone I spoke to around the lake said all the fish are coming out on hair clip maggot. Don't know what happened there, excuse me. Hair clip maggot, and even the bloke from Newport Pagnell had his 2 fish. He's been fishing days all week. He'd had his only 2 fish on maggot as well, so I'm probably missing a good trick. I will try it later. I have bought some, but I wanted to be selfish and see if the plans I had in mind before I got here worked, and as of yet nothing. But I know a lot of the fish have been coming out during the night, so I think I'll switch rigs throughout the day. And the only problem with maggots on a night is that there's a load of little baby catfish in here as well, apparently. I don't really want to be getting up every half an hour with those on the hook or anything like that. So yeah, I've got huge size 2 hooks on, and I'm obviously going for that big fish. But I think I'll give it a couple of hours, and then as we get towards evening, where you'd expect the fish to probably wake up a bit, I might try the maggot approach, see if I can get anything. But just trying to work out at the moment. I've got a little friend down there, look, who's looking for bait, and we'll probably, I'm sure, nail it during the night when I fall asleep. So he's chilling out. So it'd be nice to finish the video with a fish off Paddock, because it's a lake I've wanted to fish for years, and yet it's constantly booked. And yet, believe it or not, 2 spaces opposite me there are totally free. So maybe, maybe people are coming on later on. That was a cracking fish that just landed there. So it's 7 o'clock, and unfortunately the issue I've got at home has become a bit more serious than I first thought, so it looks like I'm going to have to pack up this evening, which is a real shame, but family comes first. It's been a brilliant 3 days, not many fish at all, just 4, but it's not always about catching, it's about the experience and enjoying yourself, and I certainly have done that. It's a fantastic fishery with something for everyone, and the staff are absolutely brilliant, the facilities are excellent, so you should give it a try if ever you're down Dorset way. It took me 3 hours to get here, but for me it's worth every penny. Great fishing. It's that time of year. I don't think the weather's helped. 1 minute it was 26 degrees, the next it's been cool and very windy today. But hope you've enjoyed the insight at Todber Manor anyway. As I said, not as many fish as I wanted to catch, but that's fishing for you. If we could all go and empty a lake, then it wouldn't be as fun every time. So yeah, this is Paddock, one I've been wanting to fish for ages. I haven't had a bite for 6-7 hours, so I'm not convinced that I would have set the place alight, if I'm honest, but it's a shame I can't stay the night, because that's probably the most opportunity that, you know, you're going to get the runs, I'd have thought, with the catfish. But we'll see. We'll be back before the end of the year or early next year to try again. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and let me know your feedback on some of the early questions I posed in the video, preferably about the 235 fish in 2 acres of lake and not being able to get one bite. So see you soon, and thanks again.